Creative Brain Candy by creators for creators.
What'll it be? Whiskey. What about you?
Vodka martini on the rocks with a twist of lemon. Very dry, please.
Just give him whiskey. He's new in town. You gotta get into the feel of the thing.
I feel silly.
Why?
It's like a joke.
Well, it's not a joke. It's an amusement park. The best amusement park in the world. All you have to do is have fun.
Some pretty rough-looking customers here. How many of them are,
Guests like us? Who knows? That's the beauty of this place. It doesn't matter. It may look rough, but it's still just a resort. There's no way to get hurt here. Just enjoy yourself. What is this stuff? It doesn't say. God, give me this. Puts hair on your chest. Yeah.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Smoking and Drinking in Space. This is a sci-fi podcast from a couple guys who think they know sci-fi. And this week, we reviewed the film that acted as a proof of concept for amusement park gone wrong movies that stars Josh Brolin's dad, some guy they hired 2 days before filming, and Yul Brynner reprising his brooding men in black role. It's 1973's Westworld. But first, he's the guy who's been to the park before and dragged my guy along for a return trip. It's James. How are you doing, James?
The horrors are amazing. It's the only really reason to go, which, by the way, Roman World, probably more my speed, just, all the orgies.
I agree. And he's the meek little guy who's afraid of his own reflection, but will become the law in this town. It's Rob. How are you doing, Rob?
Respect my authority.
No, Dick Van Patten, I will not. You can't even open the door to the sheriff department.
All right, James, what's happening around CBC this week?
It was humid that day.
Around CBC this week, nothing. It's the status quo. We have Eyes Forward March doing their thing in the military. They've got their eyes forward, and they're marching.
Are they marching?
Yeah, they are. They're marching in a forward direction. The Simply Stogies is
retreating, wouldn't it?
Smoking cigar. What?
Well, if you're not marching forward, you're retreating.
I said they're marching forward. I said they're marching in a forward direction. Is what I said.
Yeah. Never mind.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you were trying to say.
I don't. You never do.
Nobody does, Rob. I'm not sure why you're here. I was smoking cigars this week. Canadians are, as they're still in Canada. Rob's still an idiot. And that's all that's going on around CBC.
Perfect. Rob, you got any news for us this week?
I do. I had time to find some news before I went camping.
You mean you took a shit while you were camping and you read the news?
Actually, no, I didn't shit while I was camping.
How long were you camping for?
This is much more information about your bowel movements than I want. What's the news?
No, wait. I want to explore this for just a minute.
Why?
How long were you camping, Rob?
It was just a day. We just did a little day hike.
So you took 24 hours to not shit.
Well, yeah.
Why? I don't understand. You're in the woods, right? That's where you hiked?
Yeah.
You know more than bears can shit in the woods, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I didn't need to.
Did you not eat the day before?
Moving on. So, if for those of you that watch The Flash on CW,
Nobody does. Why does anybody still watch that show? Why are you talking about this?
Because it's important. For those that watch, shut the hell up. Somebody mute him. If you watched the CW, The Flash, and all that kind of fun stuff, they had a crossover event last year called Crisis on Infinite Earths. Blah blah blah. They condensed everything down into one universe. But there was a cool little cameo in that Ezra Miller showed up as the Flash from the DCEU during the show. So there are reports out there that the favor is going to be returned the other direction during the Flash movie, and that Grant Gustin, who plays the Flash on CW, will have a cameo in the DCEU Flash at some point in time. So that'll be kind of interesting, especially since, in the Snyderverse, he's just Barry Allen. He's not the Flash. He doesn't even hear the Flash except for during the CW's Crisis event. And so it's kind of a nod to, hey, this is how I'm getting my, I heard the superhero name from a different universe type of deal. So that's kind of interesting.
No, it's not interesting at all, and I'll tell you why. They've already fucked this up. They fucked the whole universe up. This whole multiverse thing is shit. I hate it. They should have just cast Grant Gustin's, that's fucking name, I don't even know, the kid from Glee, as the Flash Glee in the movie. Yeah, he was. He was a guest on Glee. I know because my wife knows. And she's like, oh, he was on Glee. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. But it's stuck in my head, and it probably pushed something that was pretty important out.
Was he just like a guest star on an episode or two
of Glee?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
look. I don't know. I don't do research on the fly. We have established this. I do not.
Apparently, he was on 7 episodes.
There
he
you
had
go.
A recurring role.
What was his character?
Sebastian Smythe.
I don't know.
Wait. Did you watch Glee?
Yes, I watched Glee with my wife back in the day.
I did too.
No, don't say
not with my wife.
All right, now we have a bigger problem. I'm okay with you watching it with your wife, Jason. Like, that makes sense. Like, I want to get laid. I'll watch this stupid, shitty show. Rob, why did you watch Glee?
Because I wanted to.
And moving on. So, what else you got, Rob?
Well, since I mentioned Zack Snyder, let's just throw some more Zack Snyder news in there. Army of the Dead, they released a trailer. It looks pretty cool, especially the zombie tiger.
Zombie tiger. Okay.
Yes, there is a zombie tiger in the official trailer. Army of the Dead.
Here's the question everybody wants to know, Rob.
Yes.
Is there a zombie Tiger King?
No.
Is that bitch,
so it was a white tiger?
Carol
so I'm
Baskin's responsible for the zombie apocalypse?
I think it's one of the Siegfried and Roy tigers. Because it was a white tiger.
Okay.
Was that too soon?
I don't know what the hell you're referring to.
Siegfried and Roy had tigers.
Mm-hmm.
One of them got mauled by one of their tigers. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I don't
died.
care. I mean, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yes.
So.
Exactly. What else you got, Rob?
Army of the Dead is coming out on May 14th in theaters, and then it'll be on Netflix on May 21st. So I'm interested in that. That looks pretty cool. Are zombies considered sci-fi?
Depends on how they became zombies.
What if they're smart zombies? Because it looks like they're smart zombies, and they have like an entire like zombie social structure thing going on.
Again, it depends on how they became zombies. So something like 28 days later, 28 weeks later, that would be considered sci-fi.
Well, how else do they become zombies if it's not like some sort of virus or something like that?
I don't know, Rob. That just depends on, I guess, how you write the story. I'm not going to come up with every plausible or unplausible explanation of how zombies are created. Let's move on.
Yeah, but these are your rules, so we need to figure out these rules
really
so we know whether or not to do this.
No, just move on. Just next.
Putting it on the list.
Nobody wants to. No, don't put it on the list. I won't watch it. I won't watch it. I won't watch it.
You will if you choose the number.
I won't watch it if I choose the number or I hit stop. I won't choose it.
Jesus. Jesus, you're
If I
both
do a
pretty.
hop.
Let's move on.
Won't do it. If I fly.
Last thing I've got is there are reports out there that Carl Urban is being eyeballed for Wolverine.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Their original person was Taron Egerton from Kingsman.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton from
Yeah,
Kingsman.
no, I heard you the first time. I was asking who, because
You've
Who?
never seen Kingsman?
No.
Good movie.
He also played Elton John in the Elton John
played
biopic.
He probably knows
then
him
I'm
from
out.
that.
I'm
Yeah,
all
he
in
probably
on.
knows.
I'm all in on Bones.
Why? Because he played Elton John in an Elton John biopic?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
He also played Robin of
Elton John.
Locksley.
Wait. Can you
in
picture
Robin Hood.
Elton John as Wolverine?
Well, yeah. I mean, given enough dye and makeup, yeah. I mean, so Edgerton is actually probably closer to the height of the comic book Wolverine than either
he's shorter. Yeah.
Either Carl Urban or oh my God. Hugh Jackman.
Let me help you.
Jackman.
There you are.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman was what, like he's like
6'2".
Yeah, I don't
He's like
care.
my size.
I don't care. They take liberties all the time with these superhero movies. I don't care. And honestly, if I'm being 100% honest with everybody that's listening to this podcast, I may or may not have a man crush on Carl fucking Urban. Okay. I want to.
He's a really good actor.
I want to bro out with Carl Urban. He is a great actor. He does everything from Bones to what was the Judge Dredd to fucking The Boys. Like he does everything. He's a wide range. He seems like a cool guy. I want to sit down, smoke a cigar, and fucking drink a pint with this motherfucker. So Carl Urban, if you ever somehow listen to this episode, like, come on, man, let's hang the fuck out.
I don't know that he's brooding enough to be Logan. I don't know that he's got that.
Oh, Judge Dredd. Come on.
I haven't seen Judge Dredd, so.
Oh.
I mean, that's nothing
don't
but
watch
brooding.
Judge Dredd, just watch Dredd.
Yeah, whatever the fuck
Judge
the name
Dredd
was. He played Judge
Stallone.
Dredd. That's who he played.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new Judge Dredd movie.
It's not
You probably
good.
don't want to. You'll probably get a little upset about the slow-mo, fighting or falling from the.
Like I'm hoping you got upset about the slow-mo in the movie we're watching today.
What did we watch today?
Really? Good job. Let's go. Pod
Who's
crawl?
ready for a pod crawl?
Yes, please.
All right,
Please.
let's do it.
We can call it, I don't know, say a pod crawl? The pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Excellent! Insert it deep! Pod crawl! Kind of like a space suppository full of information.
Let me regale you with the story of Roland, the banker who would become king. He was a simple man with simple tastes. He enjoyed amusement parks, so when a new amusement park opened where you could live out your fantasy of Roman hedonism, European gluttony, or Wild West whiskey killing, Roland, being a man of action, chose Murder World over Orgy World, or Buffet World. Roland was quick on the draw, even outdrawing his own reflection. Roland was an opportunist, a holdover from his banking days. When a couple of outlaws shot the local sheriff, he seized the moment and took up the mantle. But it was when a lone gunslinger rampaged his town searching for a skinny outlaw that kept shooting him. He was determined that things had to change. He united the three realms, terraforming the desert with the lush plant life and ample bosoms from the Roman realm, and combined it with the rich architecture and majesty from the Disney realm to create the oxygen-rich fantasy land of Duridia. Sheriff Roland proclaimed himself king, and with his army of murder, sex, and chef bots, soon took Duridia planet-wide. That king would have a daughter, and that daughter would endanger the world. But she would be rescued by a man and his mog in a sex of ego, and they all lived happily ever after. The end. The moral of the story is, don't let robots have sex, because they will spread the coronamidia and roll robots going apeshit on the park guests. Credits.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you mad props for this. You said that the pod crawl was probably not that great. That's pretty clever how you worked Dick Van Patten to be like the star of the pod crawl, even though he was not the star of this movie. And the pod crawl was more entertaining than the ending of this movie.
It was, yeah. The ending of this movie fell a little flat, kind of literally.
Yeah.
But so it's been a long time since I've seen Westworld. I think I was probably in my early 20s whenever I saw it the first time, and if that's the case,
Did it just come out?
and if that's the case, it's probably why I don't remember some parts of this movie. But I do remember liking it somewhat. And I still kind of like it. It's decently paced. I mean, for the subject matter that they're exploring, which are robots in an amusement park, and the technologies that they had at the time to shoot this film, I thought it did pretty good in terms of most of the special effects. Some of the special effects didn't really translate well. But yeah, the ending kind of fell flat. I think it was probably a movie ahead of its time. And I think that's probably why they revisited this whenever they did Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I would say that this movie was ahead of its time. Probably the book. Wasn't it based on a book?
I don't
It's
know.
not Michael
No,
Crichton.
this one. So yeah, this one was written and directed by Michael Crichton, but I don't think this
I
one
think it
was
was just an idea.
Yeah, I don't think this one was based on one of his books. I think this one was straight to movie.
Yeah.
You do a little research on the fly.
Go do that research on the fly while I explain why the robots went insane. And while the chronomedia is a plausible explanation, like don't have sex with robots, I honestly think that it's just because their computers they were using will now fit in our pocket. And
so you think,
in fact, I think what's in our pocket. Yeah. I mean, did you see the whole room full of computers? It got to be like 100 degrees in that room when they turned the power off. And for whatever reason, they couldn't turn the power back on.
And for whatever reason, they didn't have air vents.
Right.
Yeah, that was one of the things. Yeah, that's one of my quabbles with this movie. But yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah. So I think that was it. I think that's the reason. They just faulty computers. Those things were not made to last forever. They were big, bulky. They had the buttons and not. It was not. That's why those computers sucked. You had more computing power in an Atari 2600 than you did in that entire room.
No, that's not true. So the 2600 chip wasn't as much computing power as you had in that room. Now,
a Commodore 64, fine.
Now the phone that you have in your pocket is multiple times the computer power that you've got in that room at this point. But those mainframes were built to last. I mean, we're still using some of those fucking 60s and 70s eras mainframes today in some businesses and governmental institutions, just because there's software that really only works on those. Now they're being phased out, but I'm sure there's still some out there today that are still being used. No, this was a straight to film. He didn't base this off of one of his novels.
Well, no, but my point to the computer thing is, yeah, they might still, like, they may have been built to last and whatnot, but they weren't built to run a trillion robots at the same fucking time. Like,
no, that was a stretch.
Yeah, our what's in our pocket couldn't do that. Even like the most supercomputer that we have today would not be able to run as many robots as they did there, probably safely, in my opinion. I don't think you just let AI run amok. And that's essentially what they did here. Is they were like, hey, we made AI, and now we're going to just let it do whatever the fuck it wants.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that this movie explores is what happens when AI starts to go awry and the ethical implications of that. And they really did the incorrect thing here is they kept the robots online instead of taking them offline whenever, anomalies started happening, especially when the anomalies started happening more and more frequently.
Well, I like how that.
Well, they were going to take it offline.
Yeah, for
they were
like
just
a month.
waiting, and they were waiting for the
current guest to leave.
Through.
Yeah, but something like that, you just say, "Hey, sorry, we're going to refund some of your money, and we're going to."
To be fair, this was pre old lady spilled McDonald's hot coffee. So we weren't quite as litigious in the 70s as we are now.
True.
Yeah, they were really concerned though when one of them got a snake bite. They were like, "Oh no, this can't happen."
So apparently, that scene they actually used a live fucking rattlesnake and attached it to James Brolin's arm.
Really?
Yeah.
And he swung it around?
Yeah.
And he was just like, fuck. See, all right, look, I'm gonna say this. It's not gonna be politically correct. I don't give a shit. But that was when men were men. I don't give a fuck. Put a fucking snake on my arm. I don't give a shit. Today, can you imagine an actor going, yeah, put it on my fucking arm. I'm a man. No, they wouldn't.
No, that's fucking crazy.
Can't you CGI that?
That is fucking. I would not, even back then when men were supposedly men, I wouldn't let somebody put a fucking rattlesnake on my arm. That's insane. I mean, he had padding, he had leather and cotton padding around his arm, but the bottom teeth of that snake still bit through, and he got injured.
No, bring it. Let me
bring it. Okay,
yeah, I'll do it.
We'll get something figured out. We'll get a milked rattlesnake, and we'll.
I've eaten rattlesnake.
Well, so have I, but that doesn't mean I'm going to have one attached to my fucking arm.
I think it's only fair if you eat an animal, you give it a chance to eat you as well.
Really?
Yeah.
When was the last time you had a cow try to eat you?
Well, all they do is like try to lick you to death. I'm like, oh, you're my
I don't want to know how you know that.
Cows are stupid. Like animals are dumb. There's a reason. There's a reason I don't eat tiger or lion or bear, anything that's larger than I am and that could eat me and, rip me to shreds. I don't eat. But like the dumb, smaller animals, or even the big, dumber animals, fuck it, I'll eat them. I don't give a shit. That's why we're the apex predator, because we know what we can hunt and what we can't. So I think I want to
see a cow try and eat you. I want to let a chicken try and eat you too. We're just going to get a bunch of barnyard animals and a rattlesnake, and we're just going to start having them try and eat you.
I think that's a different movie.
Is that is that going to be a new thing? Instead of story time with Crowley?
Yeah, story time with Crowley.
What happens when...
I like it. I like where your head's at.
Yeah. This week, we throw him in with a sloth. It'll take a while.
Crowley versus sloth.
I'll smoke a cigar while it takes its time to try to get to me.
So I think what's his face was way overthinking the gun belt. Let's ask this question: which world would y'all go to, James? I think I know which world you would go to.
Oh yeah, the Roman world. I want the fucking orgies. That's all I want. Binge and purge. Give me the orgies. Why the fuck am I? Look, if I wanted to go to medieval times, I just go to fucking medieval times and eat a fucking shank of whatever. No. If I wanted to go to Westworld, I just go to Nebraska and pretend like I'm in the fucking 1800s. I want fucking orgies. I want binging and purging. I want gladiators. That's what I want.
Rob?
Yeah, same thing. Not the gladiators, but mostly the orgies.
Wait. You don't want to go...
Are you afraid of the gladiators, Rob?
Right.
No, I don't. Well, okay, wait. Do I get to just watch the gladiators or do I become a gladiator?
Well, I think we'd like to see you become a gladiator and lose.
I don't have the physique for that. I can't pull off the gladiator look.
Oh, I bet you can. I bet we can get some armor on you and you'll look just like a gladiator.
I say we give it the old college try and just see what happens.
I really think that you should at least explore the option.
Okay, I will after my 13th orgy. Because by that time I'm going to be raw and I'm going to need a break.
Oh, gross. Like we talk about a lot of things here.
What about you, Jason?
After my 13th orgy, I'll be raw.
Yeah, I don't. So yeah, I'm thinking Roman world too.
No, whatever.
Yeah,
you'd go to the medieval world.
Why? Just go to medieval times. Like they do jousting shit.
If it wasn't Roman world, I would definitely hit Westworld.
Yeah, I'd go to Westworld over fucking medieval times.
Yeah.
Wait, so in the new show,
the second hottest chick was at medieval times.
Oh yeah, yes. Absolutely. Oh
so
my god.
In the new
Boobs McGee,
the new HBO show.
That's what I called her. My wife's like, "Who is that?" I don't know, Tits McGee.
That's what my wife said. She's like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Boobs McGee."
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Does it matter? Does she have to have a name?
Right, just Tits McGee.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the new one on HBO, they had what was it? Samurai World.
Yeah, it was. Well, they also had Medieval World. In fact, I think Samurai World and Medieval World may have been like right next to each other.
Okay, yeah, but would you, if that was in the mix, would you go there?
Samurai World?
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean,
I think you're really trying to push into my, my kinks here, Robin. I'm not sure that I wanted to.
Well, because I know how much you enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima.
Tsushima, yeah.
It depends on who said it.
Very good, Robin does.
Yeah, I don't think I would go to Samurai World before any of the others. I'm just not into samurai history and the shogunate history.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I'm into that. I think it's fun. I think I like the lore. I like the culture. I like some of the women. It'd be a toss up for me. I think I might actually want to go to Samurai World over Roman World.
Wow.
So would you want to experience all of them, or would you just keep going back to the same one like Brolin did?
I'd like to experience all of them at least once.
And then make a decision on where you want to hang your hat for the rest of the time?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Disney World.
I was just going to say.
You go to all the parks, but then you find your favorite parks and you hit those more often.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why you go 5 days and not 4 days, because on that 5th day, you have a park hopper. So if you want to hit Epcot and get some more poutine, you hit Epcot, you get some poutine, you drink a little bit around the world, and then that night you head back to the Magic Kingdom because your wife just wants to ride Dumbo 17 times in a fucking row before you leave.
This sounds like you know this from experience.
Shut the fuck up, Rob. Yeah, I do. That's all she's like, I want to ride Dumbo.
Dumbo's the only thing she wants to do.
She gets a little misty as we're walking out of the park, and then as we're driving away from the park the next day, it's full on tears. And I'm like, grow the fuck up.
She missed the giant elephant.
Why are you crying? Well, no, it's a whole long story. When she was a kid, apparently her parents took her to Disney World, but she doesn't remember it at all. And her family will not tell her what happened.
What? Why?
Yeah.
It sounds like they didn't
she
go to
murder
Disney
somebody?
World.
I don't know.
No, it sounds like they gaslighted her into thinking she went to Disney World so that they could save money.
That might be accurate. But knowing her family, I'm guessing something traumatic happened that it wasn't, she didn't do it. It was probably her parents, and something traumatic happened and nobody wants to talk about it. I'm whatever. I don't give a shit. She loves Disney World now. Fucking A. She just never wants to leave. It's the happiest place on earth.
So did anybody think that Pete looked like Adam Scott?
Who? Pete?
No, I don't think he really looked like Adam Scott.
From the side? From the side, it didn't look like Adam Scott from time to time?
I mean, no, because I don't think so. He's a much smaller build than Adam Scott, and Adam Scott doesn't have a really large build. But I mean, even if I'm imagining a mustache on Adam Scott, he just really doesn't look much like him.
Now, I will tell you, there were a couple times in this movie I was like, holy shit, that looks like the original number one. There were also a couple of times in this movie where I was like, holy shit, that looks like the dad from 8 is Enough.
Yeah.
That looks like the King of Druidia. So yeah, there were a couple times where people look like other people, Rob, but that's because they're fucking actors and they take different parts. But no, nobody was jumped out at me as, oh, that guy looks like so-and-so. No, that didn't.
I mean, I could see some resemblance of Josh Brolin and one of the guys in the movie. So almost like they're kind of related, but
almost,
were they?
Yeah.
Are they related? Oh, that's weird.
Let me
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Man, James Brolin just doesn't fucking change, does he?
No, he doesn't.
I mean, the guy still looks the same, almost right down to the hair. I mean, he's got a few more lines on his face, but that's about it.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise looks the same as he did in the 80s now. So, some actors just, they age more gracefully. Or they're fucking vampires that are feeding on people around them.
That might be too.
That's probably it.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards B.
Yeah, vampires.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I think you're right. I think you're onto something. We should explore that at some point.
Maybe on a Quabble episode of Conspiracy Theories.
Yeah.
Which actors are vampires?
There's a whole list. Kevin Bacon.
No, Kevin Bacon looks. Kevin Bacon looks a little road hard now.
He's bad.
You would look a little road hard too if you'd been living for 1,300 years.
Is that the magic number?
Yeah, John Travolta, Tom Cruise, There's somebody else. I don't remember who, but yeah. There's
John
like a whole,
Travolta looks a little crazy right now too.
well, I mean, he lost his wife.
Yeah, and he lost his kid a while
And his
back
kid,
too.
yeah, right. So, right. Like, guy, fuck. Might
Wait,
just be time
I
to
didn't
stop
know
sucking blood
vampires
and
could
die.
have kids.
I don't know how this works. I don't know how
Yeah, I don't know.
vampires
We'll have
even
to
works.
figure it out. Yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
God, this is already a weird fucking podcast
It really
episode.
is. It really is.
This is a
And
weird
here's the
movie.
strange thing. This movie's not bad. I liked the movie until the end.
Yeah, I did too. So let's briefly talk about the end and then we'll get into some of the effects because I think some of the effects were really, really good
Terrible.
and some of the effects really didn't land. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, the end seemed like it was, well, shit. Now I've got this fucking story and I need to end it
Now
somehow.
what?
And I'm not exactly sure how to end it, which is kind of how it
Let's put him
actually
on
happened.
a step.
So
Let's
originally,
put him on the stairs.
yeah. So originally he had this fight scene between Peter and the gunslinger. And at one point the gunslinger was going to die by getting ripped apart by on a rack, but he decided that was kind of stupid. And so he ripped that out of the script. And then we got the ending that we got where he got lit on fire and then eventually fell off some stairs. And
I didn't have a problem. I guess I didn't have a problem with how the fight ended. I just think that the fight shouldn't have ended the movie.
I mean, yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, he outsmarted the robot. Good for you. You're the last one on, alive on Jurassic Island, whatever the fuck they call it. Like, you're the last one in the amusement park. Good for you. How do you get out of there? Like that, if they were going to end it that way, and I know this is probably just something that you see more in modern movies for a plethora of reasons, but they should have had military coming in and taking over, and like you see him regaling the detective or the FBI agent or whoever with what happened.
Do like a cut, like this whole thing was a story. Like he was telling what had happened before. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then you see one of the robot's eyes open. And then.
Well, it didn't have any eyes anymore.
Well, and I said one of the robots, not that specific robot that face fell off. Just one of the, because the whole point of this movie is the robots turn against their masters. Right.
Right.
And so, one of them opens their eyes because the whole thing was their batteries run down. And again, I just think that you couldn't do that then because today's technology is a lot different than technology then, which kind of went to my point with the phone. So this movie and script was really hampered a lot by the technology of the time, which I can see now that I'm talking it out with you two. It's like, all right, I get why they ended it that way. It's still a shitty ending.
It is.
But I understand why they ended it that
But really,
way.
how else are you going to end it? I mean,
right. There's nothing there's no, back then you couldn't, come up with ideas or ways for energy to kind of just last a little bit longer or for the robots to be like, man, I should probably get some Duracells because that fucking bunny, or no, the Energizer, because that bunny doesn't use Duracell. They need an Energizer. Like, see, so there's none of that. There's no lithium batteries. There's no endless energy resource. It's not like you can just fill them up with gas and pull start them.
yeah,
Oh, that would have been
solar wasn't very
funny.
advanced at that point either.
No. So I don't know how you would have ended this movie. I think maybe you don't have Brolin's character die and the two of them escape.
I think you still have Brolin's character die. I think that was kind of the shocking turning point of the movie, that it told audiences that, oh shit, things just got real.
Well, you could have had Dick Van Patten characters die.
Yeah, I guess you could have, because he was the sheriff, and I guess if he was,
what
trying
happened
to play
to him?
out, nobody knows. He became the king of Druidia.
Oh, that's right.
Well, yeah, like that's the other thing is the one guy in medieval times that we didn't know about, and I couldn't figure out why we're seeing him other than they just really wanted to show off Tits McGee. He dies. They can show him dying for no fucking reason.
Well, they showed him on the hovercraft coming in, and he was with his wife. What the fuck happened with his wife?
I think his wife went to
There was a
Roman.
shot of her she had died as well.
Oh,
I know, but you never see her or him interact with her after they get to the park.
Not to interrupt, but Rob, who is this Vision? Well,
Tits McGee.
Wow. Who is Tits McGee?
Anne Randall. She was Tits McGee. She was a
familiar.
She was a Playboy Playmate of the Month in Miss May, in 1967.
Well, there you go. That's how I know her.
There you go. Yeah.
That's how you know her.
That's how you...
10 years before your birth.
Yeah, 10 years before. She was quite the looker.
Man, and that was 7 years before the movie. She was still quite the looker 7 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Makes me want to invent a time travel machine.
Oh, I like how in one of their meetings they were like, computers made a lot of this stuff now.
Yeah, we don't know how it works. Yeah, right. I mean,
when the guy said that, my wife goes, they call that foreshadowing in the biz.
Yeah.
So the guns have a sensor in them. Mm-hmm. That to where they will only shoot at cold stuff, right? They're not supposed to shoot hot-blooded things or warm items. So how was the gunslinger able to shoot? Were the guns networked into the computer as well?
Well, they would have had to have been, right? I mean, that's why he wasn't able to use it at the end, is because the battery died on it.
No, I understand the battery is dead. That's a whole nother issue. Another question I've got for you. But I mean, I understand the battery being dead, but I mean, was it like Wi-Fi'd into? That seems weird that it would be Wi-Fi'd into a computer. So you go to shoot and it has to go talk to a computer first and then get it back and go, oh no, don't shoot. Why wouldn't it be built into the gun? The sensor's on the gun. You just say, okay, if it's over this temperature, don't shoot.
But think of the technology of the time. So the local processing wasn't as advanced as it is now. So they may have a sensor on the gun, but it still has to talk back to the central processing unit because they didn't have, processing units on the gun itself. The technology just wasn't that advanced in 1973 to even probably imagine that. So it would have had to have been some sort of wireless communication back and forth between the mainframe computer and that weapon.
Okay. Sure.
I mean, all the robots were linked into the mainframe too.
Yeah, that's true.
And so whenever they lost control of the robots, they probably lost control of the weapons too. The weapons were just on free fire until the batteries ran out.
Okay, I get you. So it couldn't phone home, so it went to its normal function.
Right.
It's no longer a smart gun. It's a dumb gun. It's a regular firearm.
Or we can infer from the doors being locked and them not being able to turn the power back on once they turned the power off, that the robots were networked in with everything else. And so they could override all safety protocols, not just their own.
So you think it was
the safety protocols of the guns? They could override the safety protocols to keep everybody in the room.
The computers took over everything? You think the robots took over everything?
Well, they alluded to a computer virus in the movie.
Well, yes, but I kind of assumed that was something like the virus got into the individual AI, and then they just became free, more or less. Not that they had taken over everything else.
But if the individual AI also dialed into the central computer, then the central computer would also be infected as well, right?
Well, yes, I suppose.
I mean, you're IT, right?
No.
Hey, we're talking about what? We're talking about technology. We're talking about how computers work. While we're doing that, can somebody tell me how I can set these two pictures as screensavers on my fucking computer?
Yeah, we can work on it. Hold on. Let me get you a third picture that you can.
I only have two screens. I want to make them wallpapers, one on each screen.
Really?
Yeah, that's not. No, it's not doing it for me. But I appreciate the effort.
I just thought I'd try. Sorry.
No, I said I appreciate the effort. It's a good picture. She's a handsome lady.
So I really enjoyed Yul Brynner's kind of recreation of the gunslinger character that he did in The Magnificent Seven. Has anybody else seen that movie?
No.
Wait, was Yul Brynner the robot?
Yes.
Yeah. Magnificent Seven. Wait, is that the one with Denzel Washington and
that's the remake? Yes.
Yeah. So I've seen that one.
Okay.
That was a good movie. I like that one a lot.
The original Magnificent Seven came out in the 70s. They're all basically rehashes of the Seven Samurai. And Yul Brynner played the gunslinger in that movie as well. And it was basically the exact same character as what he played, although he did play this one a little flatter as a robot, but he wore pretty much the same clothes as well.
Well, there were a lot of allusions to Westerns in this movie, right? Like, like he called himself John Wayne. Like they're like, "What's your name?" And he said John Wayne. Was his name really John Wayne? Was that the character's fucking name?
No.
Oh, yeah, it was John something though, right?
John. No, he said John Blaine.
Oh,
his
Blaine.
last name was Blaine. I
heard
Roland's
Wayne.
name is Roland was John Blaine.
I heard Wayne, John Wayne, and I'm like, why? What? Why would he do that? I thought John Wayne was still alive in '73. I don't remember him dying until later. That makes more sense now. All right.
Yeah, movie's totally different.
Yeah, totally different now.
I gotta go watch it again.
Nah, it's a good. I like this movie a lot.
Also, there was new technology that was actually used in this movie. The point of view vision that you get whenever they're looking through the eyes of the robot, of Yul Brynner's character, that pixelated kind of view that you get, that was actually new technology. They'd never used any kind of digitization like that before. And for each 10 seconds of film that they shot like that, it took 8 hours to render.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
Like if people, I'm going to assume that these podcasts will last forever out in the ether, and somebody someday, 3,000 years from now, will be listening to this, and they'll be laughing at, they used to listen to podcasts. Now they just shoot them into our rectum and it goes up to our brain. I don't know how things will work in the future.
What the hell?
But they're laughing at this, and we're laughing at that technology. I mean, you could do that on your phone now with an app that's free.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. But I mean, it was 1973, and nobody had ever really tried to do that. They went to JPL, like Jet Propulsion Laboratories, to get it done, and JPL wanted too much money and was going to take too much time.
Like, here's the thing, right? Like for me, a lot of the effects fell very flat, just because most of them are based on technology that, to us, is like it's an everyday thing, and in the 70s it wasn't. But the one thing that really stuck out to me as far as the effects go that really kind of pissed me off, and I was like, do they really think moviegoers are that stupid, is one of the very first scenes when they are on the hovercraft going to Westworld and medieval world, and they're going to the hub, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outside you see the green screen. It probably wasn't a green screen. It was probably like a screen they were pulling.
Yeah, it was just a projector screen. Probably.
Yeah. Right. And it's bouncing up and down and left and right and everything else, right? Because it's a bumpy terrain.
Well, because when they filmed it, they were probably in a regular car or vehicle.
They were probably right. And then but inside nothing was moving.
Right. Yeah.
Like, how hard is it to get some guys to just kind of shake the fucking whatever prop they're in, whatever vehicle they're in, and just get like 3 or 4 guys to just every once, they're bouncing around a little bit. There was none of that. Like, I was just like, it didn't compute with me in my brain area. Like, one of these things is off, and it was that outside was moving up and down and around, and inside was static.
Yeah, well, they were supposed to be in a hovercraft, which would have been a smoother ride anyway. But I think that
smooth.
I don't know. It's supposed to be futuristic.
That was smoother than opening up a new jar of fucking Skippy. Okay.
Oh my God.
It shouldn't have been that smooth. All right.
You are a master of metaphors.
I am. Thank you.
But yeah, I think I don't know if like gimbal cams or if cameras that were able to shock absorption cameras were available in 1972 or 73.
What are they doing on the Starship Enterprise when like they were hit by a photon fucking torpedo?
I know, but I think the whole point of the vehicle was it was supposed to be futuristic. I mean, a hovercraft, I guess back in 1973 was futuristic. It's not really futuristic now or even in the 80s. I mean, we had G.I. Joe toys that were hovercrafts in the 80s. So
nobody has made a vehicle that is buttery smooth on that kind of train. Nobody. And we're 50 years removed from that movie. Nobody has. Like, I'm just saying I get what they were trying to do. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. One of the things that didn't work for me were some of the kind of low tech special effects that they tried, like the leads in that one robot's head where they just scotch taped some like RCA cables to his forehead. That didn't really work for me. Some of the blood effects I think they didn't really work for me, but
I was going to ask, were like the squibs that they used in the 70s just filled with ketchup?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm wondering if maybe that was the high def kind of remaster on this, if maybe the contrast on that red was brought out a little bit more.
Hot sauce to me.
Yeah, it was way too red. And I wonder if maybe the color correction was off.
It was too thick to be hot sauce. Like, what kind of hot sauce did they have in the 70s?
It was
like
cool. You know what? It was probably Caro syrup and red food dye.
Well, that's what they normally use for blood. Yeah. Although Alfred Hitchcock used Hershey's syrup in Psycho for blood.
Because it was black and white and it didn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying it didn't work. It didn't look good. It looked
no. But I mean, the other effects worked out really well. So I mean, it's kind of a wash on those. I think
like if the robots would have just had that kind of blood coming out of them, and then you start to see the blood from Brolin's character come out, and it's a different darker
color. Yeah,
right.
It's
then
blood.
You could go, all right, I get it now. That's not blood. That's whatever lubricant they use to make Mr. Data fucking move around. And instead, it's not like everybody's got the same blood, and it's just like, oh, this is stupid.
I want to know why they made their robots out of gasoline, because Yul Brynner's character lit up like a fucking Roman candle whenever he was touched with a torch.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but back in the 70s, they thought that fossil fuels were going to last forever. And so they just figured we'd find ways to like use up the fossil fuels now that we're all running around on hovercraft that are so smooth that it had to be electric.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Makes sense.
And I didn't like the very end where he rescued what's-her-face from the dungeon and then tried to give her a drink and she just...
Oh my God. This is what I said. Yeah, I looked at my wife. I'm like, check her hands. Check her hands.
Yeah.
Check her hands.
Yeah.
Like, why are you not check? Because for those of you that aren't going to watch this movie, and I don't blame you if you don't, although it is a good movie, like that's the only way you could differentiate between human and robot is they couldn't get the hands right on a robot. So they were like lumpy or liney or something.
Yeah,
they had rings on them or something.
Rings around the joints of the fingers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like,
what I didn't get is how did she short circuit? I mean,
well, you can't water and electronics IT. They don't go together.
No,
Gunslinger drank whiskey earlier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You saw Marjol Barrett. You know,
Majel.
Sorry,
Marjol?
she. Shut up.
Jeez, Rob, you got to fucking turn in your sci-fi card.
Yeah, she drank. The Roman people were drinking. Medieval world, they were all drinking.
Yeah,
that's
that one didn't make sense.
That's a really good point. It doesn't make sense to me now at all.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it?
And that makes it even dumber.
And on top of that, the gunslinger was walking through water.
Yeah. So, if they crumble like the fucking Wicked Witch of the West whenever they touch water, it doesn't make sense. That part of the movie was really stupid. Like I said, the ending didn't function for me. It didn't work. It was like, oh, we got to end this movie. Let's just, the end.
Like, how well is this movie received? Like, was it like, were people like, this is a good movie, you should go watch it?
That's a good question. Let's do a little more research on the fly here.
But what does this have on Rotten Tomatoes? Are people like, you know what? It doesn't really hold up. It's still, because it's a fun ride. Like, it is a fun ride.
It has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 40 reviews.
Yeah.
40 reviews? That's it? This movie's been around almost 50 years and you motherfuckers can't do more. I'm not going to go do a review. I'm yelling at you fucks. Go do a goddamn review.
So
it was enough to get a sequel.
It was it was a box office success. Budget of $1.2 million, which was, even back in the 70s, was a low budget for a sci-fi movie. And it made $10 million in the box office, so it made its money back and then some.
That's like $1 billion today.
Not quite that much, but yeah, it's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, it's still a chunk of change. So I think it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, honestly, I would invite you to go watch it. The ending kind of sucks. Just know that it sucks going into it. I mean, you know how it ends. So, but everything in between is really good. I think it's a good story. I think it's got solid characters. I think it's got a good plot. Like you said, the pacing is good. The music is very 70s-esque, which reminds me of when I was a kid. I couldn't figure out why in medieval times everybody had 70s haircuts, but then I remembered the last time I was at medieval times, everybody had 90s haircuts. So watch this movie. It's not bad.
Yeah, it really is. Rob, you got final thoughts?
I had another question. How do you have heated footsteps on brick walkways?
That's a question we shouldn't ask. I mean, that's movie magic, Rob.
Okay. And then on top of that, how does a robot programmed for a Western era amusement park know what a water faucet is and low batteries?
All right. So again, they become self-aware, Rob. I know you have not yet become self-aware, and we're hoping at some point your balls drop and you figure it out. But until that happens, like, just know that the robots became self-aware. They were able to tap into the mainframe and they suddenly knew everything, because we're assuming this was in the future, which meant the internet existed, so they could just tap into everything. And yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Fine.
They read Wikipedia, holder of all knowledge.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that they did.
I am
some
too.
Strange things on Wikipedia. Holder of all knowledge.
All right, James, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is this romp in sci-fi Western Westworld more sci-fi than 11/22/63?
All right. So in we'll just start with Westworld. In Westworld, the 1973 edition, there's Tits McGee. There are orgies.
Tits McGee is medieval.
Rob, shut up. There's a queen who likes to cheat on her husband. There's a bunch of whores everywhere, including the queen of whores, Majel Barrett. In 11/22/63. There's a fucking closet and a diner. Yes, fucking Westworld, more sci-fi than 11/22/63.
Rob, you got a haiku for us this week?
You know I do, unlike James having
nobody knows to what you're referring to, asshole.
This is a teaser for later.
Just read your stupid fucking shit. Let's go.
All right. Vacation for Everyone is what this is titled. Just a grand a day, you can be a real cowboy and then killed for free.
That's pretty good, Rob.
Yeah.
Well done.
Clever.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very
Who's got
clever.
awards this week?
I do.
Yep.
Rob, who's got your Black Lung Award?
I gave my Black Lung Award to the Starfleet computer for smoking and running a whorehouse.
Okay, James?
She's also the original number one. All right, let's just.
Well, I know, but
okay.
Starfleet computer sounded funnier.
Yeah, it did sound funnier.
Because, the computer and an android,
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah. Are you done?
I am.
Okay. I'm going to give mine.
Some would say that it might be a little apropos.
Mm-hmm. Brolin's dad.
But I am not that somebody.
For smoking a cigar every chance he got. Attaboy.
Yeah, mine's going to go to Brolin the Elder as well, because he had like at least 3 cigars in the movie that I counted.
At least.
Yeah.
And there was only one continuity error that I caught, which was the very first time they were at the saloon, and he turned, like when he was facing the bartender, the cigar was lit. When he turned around, it was not lit.
Well, that was a new one.
No, and then when he turned back around to face the bar, it was miraculously lit again. So,
all right, James, who's got your head lush?
my head lush is going to go to literally everyone in this fucking movie for drinking. Everyone in Westworld was drinking. Everyone in Roman World was drinking. And everyone at Medieval Times was drinking. They all drank, and they all drank a lot. So robots, humans, they all get it.
All right, Rob?
Giving it to Pete for just enjoying a good whiskey while the bar fight was happening.
They all, everybody was enjoying whiskey while the bar
I
fight was happening.
understand that, but I was just trying to pick one person and not everybody in the entire movie because that's a cop-out.
That's not a cop-out.
No, cop-out.
All right, so mine's going to go to both Pete and John because, yeah, one of the first things that they did was order whiskey, and I guess neither one of them had bad whiskey before, and so they choked that up, and then the night of the bar fight, they had drank so much that they passed out on the barroom floor and woke up with huge hangovers the next day. So they're getting my head lush. All right, Rob, who's got your player?
I gave it to the dude in Medieval World for going from the queen to the handmaiden. Of course, he struck out, but, he thought he had enough game to go from the queen to the handmaiden. He was just making the rounds.
Well, to be fair, he did have enough game. It was that the robots were going crazy because they were programmed to just let anybody fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So even somebody with your kind of game could have gotten laid.
Hence why I'm going to Roman World.
All right, James.
My player award goes to Janet Lane. And I know both of you are going, who the fuck is Janet Lane? Literally 3 minutes into the movie, the reporter is asking people, where did you come from? Like, which world did you visit? And this middle-aged woman is like, my name is Janet Lane, and I went to Roman World because of the men.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Who was that reporter? He looked familiar. What has he been in?
Tom Brokaw?
That was not Tom Brokaw.
Ted Koppel.
It was not Ted Koppel.
Wolf Blitzer.
Sam Donaldson.
Oh, my God.
Barbara Walters.
It was indeed Barbara Walters.
You've nailed it.
Are you doing research on the fly to find out who the reporter was?
Yeah, because that's
now
bugging
he wants
me now.
to know.
I don't even see his ass listed, so I don't know.
Well, that's because you're not supposed to be looking for his ass. You're supposed to be looking for his name.
Well, now I want to give my player award.
Is that how this fucking work?
Yeah, now I want to give my player award to Jason for looking for his ass.
Yeah, there you go.
Fair
Who's
enough.
got your player award, Jason?
So my player award is going to go to Tits McGee.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, she is a smoke show.
It was I was kind of split between Tits McGee and the Black Knight because the Black Knight was giving that dude the fuck me eyes, but it's going to go to Tits McGee.
Yeah, right? So Tits McGee is the second hottest woman in this movie. The first hottest woman was the chick who had no speaking parts and just took the tray of food to Pete while he was in jail. They had a stick of dynamite in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was hot too.
Oh my God. I called her a Pocahontas because she was in Indian garb. I don't know if that was her name. I don't know a lot of indigenous American names. Pocahontas is probably the only one that I do know. And so that's what I called her. And I was like, she is the hottest. And then my wife hit me and she's like, you can't say that. I go, which part? Like, she's the hottest one in this movie or the Pocahontas part? I don't know her name. What, you just want me to say hot lady? And then my wife just ignored me for the rest of the night.
As she probably should have. All right, James, who's got your purple hippo?
My purple hippo is going to go to the director and the screenwriter who both looked at the end of this movie and said, yep, this is how we're going to end it.
Well, the director and screenwriter were the same person, so.
Well, that makes sense then. That would make sense why he thought it was a good idea, because nobody was going, maybe we should do this.
All right, Rob?
Yeah, mine's going to the writers for thinking enhanced vision meant large pixels.
Well, back then it did.
There was nothing enhanced about that. It was just blobs.
It was, but I mean, that was the kind of fidelity you got back in 1973, man.
They had the FLIR thing going on, the heat infrared vision. Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah, the enhanced vision was terrible.
All right, so my purple hippo is going to go to James Brolin's character, John, for, having a hangover and just wanting to kill the gunslinger quick so you can go nurse your fucking hangover and then getting shot. That's got to be a fucking head trip. Not expecting to get shot because you figure you're safe in an amusement park.
I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought it was going to be Pete that got shot, and so I was a little shocked when Brolin got shot.
Yeah, I mean that really
Didn't
is
see
kind
that
of
twist, did you?
Yeah, I mean you would figure Brolin would be more of the leading man,
Yeah, the leading man would survive, not.
Well, he was the whole movie. He was the leading man until he died, and they were like, "No, we're gonna hand it off to Pete. This isn't a marathon. It's a fucking relay race." Didn't make sense.
All right, well, it is time to pick our next title. So, who's picking the number? Who's telling me when to stop?
I'll pick the number.
Rob?
What?
I guess that means you're telling me when to stop. So, James, what's your number?
What year was she Miss May?
67.
67. That's my number.
All right, Rob, tell me when to stop.
I don't hear any clicking.
Rob.
Keep clicking.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Keep going.
I hate you,
I'm
Rob.
not there yet.
I'm not there yet. Rob do this part.
I'm not there yet.
I don't know. Because you won't let me do both parts.
All right, go ahead and stop.
Oh, we got to pick again. So this is a series.
It took you that long to figure out that was a series?
Rob, I hate
Keep going. Keep clicking. Keep clicking. And stop.
God damn it. It's another series, and it's the Westworld series this time.
That's kind of funny.
All right, keep going.
Keep clicking. I can hear it. All right, go ahead and stop.
Oh my God.
It's another series.
Nope.
Maybe we need to.
All right, so next week we will be reviewing the movie where a nameless drifter dons a postman's uniform and a bag of mail as he begins a quest to inspire hope to the survivors living in a post-apocalyptic America. Starring and directed by Kevin Costner and has Will Patner and Lorenz Tate. This is
I'm busy next week.
1997's The Postman.
I'm washing my hair.
I'm doing my nails.
I won't be able to watch this movie and or review it.
Nope.
I think I have appendicitis. I can't.
I'm sure you'll be fine by next week.
Yeah,
get that taken care of. It's a laparoscopic surgery now. They go in, they rip that shit
say
out.
Appendicitis. I meant. I've got something's wrong with my prostate.
That's even better. They'll just stick they'll just stick their finger up your ass and give you some pills, and you'll be fine.
Well, we'll see what the doctor says.
You're getting a vasectomy that week, aren't you?
I have poured bleach in my eyes. So that I don't
all right, that's all we've got for this week. Our intro and outro music is Welcome Home by Cambo. Podcrawl music is Snack Mix by Machette. If you like the show, please rate and review us on iTunes. You can leave us feedback on our Discord channel at smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Discord. On Twitter at @status_podcast or email us at smokinganddrinkinginspace@outlook.com.
We knew this.
If you'd like to throw a few nickels our way, you can become a Patreon supporter by going to smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Patreon. And make sure to visit Creative Brain Candy for more great shows and other creative works at creativebraincandy.com. This is all Rob's fault. For this week, I'm Jason.
So I just realized I don't want to be the tech that is responsible for cleaning up the robots at Orgy World.
Speaking of Orgy World, Rob, this woman was in Playboy, and yet I only have 3 pictures of you, and only one of them is topless. What is the problem?
We'll talk to you next week. Yeah, so God, now the picture got me distracted. I don't know where I was going to go.
I was just looking at the picture. I wasn't going to say anything else. I'm just going to look at this picture for the next 20 minutes.